How does international law regulate belligerent occupation? Imagine a situation where one country's armed forces take control of another country's territory during a conflict. How do laws keep this temporary takeover fair and safe? That's where international law steps in. It sets clear rules to protect civilians, limit what the occupying forces can do, and respect the rights of the original government. These rules are mainly found in the Hague Regulations of 1907 and the Geneva Conventions of 1949, especially the Fourth Geneva Convention. They also include customary international law, which is what countries generally agree on over time. Belligerent occupation happens when a country's military controls another country's land during war. But this control is not permanent. It only lasts until the original government can regain authority or a peace agreement is reached. The key point is whether the occupying force has effective control, meaning they can enforce their decisions over the territory. If they can, then the area is considered occupied. This control must be real, not just symbolic, and the original government cannot exercise its authority anymore. The main laws that regulate occupation come from the Hague Regulations and the Geneva Conventions. The Hague Regulations say that territory is occupied when it is under the actual authority of a hostile army. The Fourth Geneva Convention builds on this by focusing on protecting civilians. It states that the occupying power must respect the laws in the territory unless absolutely prevented. They are responsible for maintaining order and ensuring the safety of civilians. They cannot make permanent changes to laws or transfer their own civilians into the occupied land. For example, they cannot annex the territory or alter its legal status. The law also emphasizes protecting civilians during occupation. The Fourth Geneva Convention requires the occupying power to provide essentials like food and medical supplies if the local population cannot get them. Civilians must be treated humanely, and acts of violence, intimidation, or humiliation are forbidden. The law bans collective punishments, deportations, and reprisals. Humanitarian organizations like the Red Cross should be allowed to help the population. In practice, the law balances military needs with humanitarian concerns. The occupying power can take security measures, such as detaining individuals, but they must follow fair procedures and allow visits from humanitarian groups. Courts and schools should keep functioning as normally as possible. Occupation ends when the occupying power no longer has effective control, either because the original government regains authority, a peace treaty is signed, or the territory is no longer under foreign control. The law does not legitimize occupation but provides rules for its temporary management. Terms like effective control mean the occupying force can enforce its decisions over the territory. Provisional shows that occupation is temporary, not permanent. The ousted sovereign is the original government displaced by the occupation. In summary, international law tightly controls belligerent occupation to protect civilians, limit the power of the occupying force, and respect the rights of the original government. The Hague Regulations and Geneva Conventions clearly outline what occupying powers can and cannot do. These rules help reduce suffering during conflicts and prevent abuses, making sure occupation remains a temporary situation until a peaceful resolution is reached.